בקרוב תזרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. אור ארצי נחלתנו, לא תיפול כעת רוחנו, מסביב ברזל של חרבות. ויונה תפרוס כנפיים, התקווה בת שנות 2000, עוד נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. כי עם ישראל חי.
Am Israel, hi, Shabbat Shalom, Shavua Tov, Shalom, folks. How you guys are doing today? Hope you guys are enjoying your time, and I hope you're listening or hearing my voice. I always check this one because I don't hear in my headset, but hopefully you're hearing it. That's what I'm seeing it. Okay. Well, today we have a lot to speak, a lot to talk today. Yeah, it's way too much. I think. I think the material that I have, it's going to take a long time, I think. But still, I will try to reduce as much as possible, as quick as possible. So let us dive in. So till now, we were unpacking certain things. We unpacked a certain amount or certain numbers of gods and goddesses in Greek system. And then we unpacked yesterday regarding how the Jewish people were suffering during the first century, during the invasion of Greek and the invasion of Roman. So now the sufferings were way too much for the Romans, and there was one incident. I was talking to you guys both before Jesus' birth and after Jesus' death. Even there was killings after Jesus' death called Masada killing, and there's almost like 5,000 people suicide by themselves because of the Romans were besieged him, like the whole mountain where they were residing in. They were the zealots group of people, those were revolting against the Romans, and they all were killed by themselves. It was really something very, very heartbreaking scene and heartbreaking story that still it hurts in lots of Jewish people community. So I will show you certain pictures of Masada, and that happened almost like a year, I think, maybe 66 AD, I believe, before the destruction of his temple. And yeah, this is a place, this is a mountain place where these Masada killings or Masada suicide was happening. So this is at the top of the mountain, and they were residing here, and they were surrounded by Roman soldiers. So instead of dying in the hands of Roman soldiers, they suicide themselves. See, during the reign of Herodias and his son Archelaus, and there's a lot of killings that are going on. Archelaus sent Vespasian and Titus, and Archelaus killed almost like 4,000 Jewish people. And when Vespasian and Titus came in, they killed almost like 40,000 Jewish people at the time. Folks, think about this one. What these Jewish people did, what they did, why these many people are invading, killing, massacring. Oh my goodness, that's so unbelievable. Romans invaded these Jerusalem city and Israel, and they were occupying the country, occupying the cities, and they were raping the women and killing the people and burning the temples and so many atrocities. Not only that, they were trying to bring the what do you call the um, they were trying to bring the idols and icons of paganism into the Jerusalem temple. And, you know, they were trying to do some sacrifices at the gate of the holy temple. They were doing all the pagan sacrifices, and also they were putting all the pagan statues. They were putting the the eagle statue, and also they were trying to take the images of Caligula and also Herods or Zeus or so many images. They wanted to take it inside the temple. They have done the atrocities over means. I could not even we could not even think about that one. So it was so for so many years, for so many decades, Jerusalem and Israel was under attack, under restless situation and panicking situation, bloodshedding situation. Jewish were under the turmoil they never ever been in their life history. That's what the situation during the Greco-Roman undertaking. So while these things were going on, what happened? What's going on the other side of it? Let's talk about it, because after the Masada killing, and the Romans went and burned the temple, and the temple was destroyed. All the Jewish people are scattered around the world. But let us talk about now the Jesus time period. What Jesus was doing when Jewish people, all of them, were going through these things. So at this time period, and most of I already told you guys there were three groups I was telling to you guys. One was Sadducees and Pharisees and Essenes. And in that time period, in the first century, there were several groups of uh, people in Judaism. There was a groupism was there, were hiking in numbers, because of this groupism, it was easy for any foreigner or any external forces to come in and take the country very easily. That's how it was very easy for Romans and for the Greeks to enter into the Israel city. Israel country, and then they could easily take over that, because there was no unity among Jewish people. Like there were a lot of groups. So these groups, like Sadducees, the Pharisees, Essenes, and they call also Qumranites, and also we have Elephantines, and we had Zealots, and also we had Samaritans. Even we have Judas, and also we have Jesus group. Several groups were there claiming what? What happened at the time? Jewish people were expecting somebody to rescue them, some Messiah to rescue them, because Jewish people already knew Daniel already prophesied in Daniel chapter 7. If you read that, that was the exact time that Messiah should be shown, because Daniel Daniel prophesied four beasts. If you would remember in Daniel 7, the four beasts were Babylon, Persians, Greeks, and Romans. The last kingdom was the Roman kingdom. So once the Roman kingdom is is fell off, then the Messiah will be showing up, and there should be a peace in the world, and Jerusalem temple should be rebuilt. So these many things should happen. So exactly they were at the time of Roman kingdom. They were under the Roman kingdom. So they knew that Messiah should show up any moment and any time. Knowing these things, knowing these things, people were taking the advantage, and there were a lot of pretenders, meaning they pretend to be like a Messiah, like they pretend to be like the God sent people. So they were claiming that they were the Messiah. So there were so many Messiahs were shown among these groups. What I showed you, what I told you about these many groups, so many Messiahs were shown. And if you remember, I was telling to you guys the other day, yesterday, I think, I was talking to you about the two writers, historical writers. One is Josephus, the other one was Philo. Josephus and Philo was, born during the first century, just very close to the death of Jesus. So they could able to at least listen, or talk to people, or get the information very close. These were the two historians, those who could able to collect some information regarding the situation of Jewish people, the condition of Roman kingdom, and also about all the messiahs. Josephus wrote in his book more than 6 to 7 messiahs in the time. So messiahs will be there, and they will claim that they will as Messiah. They get killed either by Romans or sometimes by Jewish himself, because there was a huge clash was going between zealots, or very very fearful soldiers, and very very what do you call resilience Jewish people they are, and Jewish group they are. Even Judas was a zealot. Peter was also a zealot, they would say. Even Jesus was, among one of the zealots. That's what the historians say, because Jesus would have commented everybody in the Bible, but except the zealots, he wouldn't be commenting anyone. So, the problem is they were just like RSS. That's what I would say. In India, RSS people, how fanatic they are, that much they are the zealot group people. They fight against Romans. They hate Romans. They hate Roman kingdoms. They don't want Romans to be there. So that's what, these groups were producing all the messiahs. Sometimes the messiahs, if they're not fulfilling what they're supposed to, probably they might be getting killed by the Roman soldiers or by the Jewish people. So killing of Messiah was a trend. It was not new. It was not only unique to Jesus, not at all. There were already several messiahs were there. Some messiahs were having at least 10,000 members, or sometimes they had the followers of that much. This is a situation. So at that time period, Jewish people know about the Daniel's prophecy. After the Roman kingdom, 4 kingdoms should be coming in. Babylon gone, Persian gone, Greek went and gone, and then the Romans were there last time. So they were expecting a Messiah at any time, at any moment. This is the time of Jesus was giving birth and everything coming up. But before Jesus also, there were several Messiahs were there. Then they got killed by the Jewish people or somebody. So, there were the other names for messiahs. Menachem or Samak means the same thing as the Messiah. So Menachem, one time the one of the messiahs, got killed inside the temple itself while he was worshiping. So that much tension was going around in those cities on those days. It was terrible time in the first century. So Jewish people are so frustrated, agony filled, and they do not know what to do, what not to do, where to go. They're expecting a Messiah should come at any moment. That's what their expectation is. So now, what is the problem? Is Judas? You know about the Judas, right? Judas was, and also there is a group called Samaritans. Samaritans also, they were expecting a Messiah, so they were also there in the group. So almost 10, 12 groups were there already, and each and every group was having their messiahs, so the messiah would show up anytime. They were believing in them, and they were trying to find out. But so many messiahs were killed before Jesus itself, just because of this reason. As I said, that like Judas, when you see Judas, Judas was also Messiah. Why Judas was also a Messiah? Because Judas had some followers. Judas had his own gospel, which was not added into the our New Testament right now. The councils didn't add that gospel, but Judas wrote a gospel, and it is available in the market. And he was already a Messiah to his followers. They believed that he would come back. The reason why I'm telling, Judas knew what he was doing. Judas knew what he was destined. Judas knew what was his implementation. Judas knew what was his task, destination, and target. The reason why Jesus was supposed to die. He should die, because if Jesus dies only, there will be redemption for the Gentiles. Without death of Jesus, there's no redemption for the Gentiles. So who would take this act? So Judas was only one person who was assigned for this one. So he was only exactly executing his job at the time. It is not intentional, but he is supposed to do. Meaning, if Jesus must die, who would do the job? So Judas took that that curse on him, and he went and put Jesus in trouble, so that he could die, so that everybody would be getting redemption. So Judas was a person who was assigned for the task. He didn't do it for himself. He was assigned for the task. That's why he did. So there were a lot of Judas followers at the time in Israel, and also they were also expecting second coming of Judas. Look at this: how many messiahs everywhere. Samaritans had Messiah. So this Messiah, concept was going there at the time of first century, and Jesus was, what he was doing there. So, when you read the whole story of Jesus, Jesus was focused on his mission. He openly, daringly said that he came to rescue Jewish people. He came to redeem or save Jewish people, no one else. In Matthew chapter 5, Jesus told that, Jesus told to the people, to his disciple, go to the lost sheep of Israel. Do not go to Gentiles. He very severely, seriously commanded disciples not to go to the Gentiles. Their focus should be only Jewish people. So Jesus' focus was only Jewish people. He didn't care about the Gentiles at all. So even one woman came to him for asking, food and everything. You know, he didn't give her anything, and he scolded her very badly, almost like he compared her to a pig, and he chased her. And also, he told that I only came to rescue or save Jewish people, not the Gentiles. He reinstated the statement to that woman. So ultimately, Jesus' mission was to work with the Jewish people, not with the Gentile people. Also, on that time period at the time period in Jerusalem, um, These were the Pharisees. They were asking questions to Jesus, right? And these are the Sadducees, and also you can see the Essenes. So we'll get back. So what happened? Um, Jesus, I was talking about Jesus was focusing only on Jewish people, right? So he was telling them that I only came to save the Jewish people, no one else. At that time period, at that time, most of the Jewish people, those who were following Jesus, they were exactly doing what Jesus was doing. They were observing exactly the commandments. They're observing exactly the Jewish law. They went to temple. They celebrated the Jewish festivals. They also sacrificed. They did the offerings. Everything what Jesus was doing, exactly his disciples were doing at the time. So it was one time difficult for the Jewish people to identify who is a Jew, who is a Christian, because Jewish people almost doing everything these Jewish Christian people, those who were following Jesus, they were doing exactly what the other Jew will be doing. So that's what the Christianity is. First century Christianity, what Jesus established was they were doing exactly what the Jewish people were doing. It was exactly Jewish people movement. It was not Gentile movement. Jesus never cared about Gentile, and he told several times, but in Matthew chapter 24, it was someone wrote that word, that too after the resurrection. It was not before resurrection. After the resurrection, when he was telling, he said that go and preach the gospel all around the world. That one word, someone thrown there in that book. They added that book. It was not Matthew's way of telling, but someone added that one according to fit the Christianity movement. So that's how the Bible got changed every time. So how come it's possible? A person, a God who was promising in chapter 5, and then he all of a sudden it changes into, when he came to chapter 24, he said that no, nobody, no problem, let's go and work along with the Gentiles. No God will do like that. That means that God is not a God. That's the problem there. So Jesus himself was a Jew, and he taught to the Jewish people. The followers were Jewish. He never cared about the Gentile people. So this is what the whole nutshell during the time period. And now what they were asking, why the Messiah is not acting as a Messiah. He was supposed to rescue the Jewish people from the Roman kingdom. He is supposed to do something with the Roman kingdom and rescue all the Jewish people. That's what the job of Messiah, where Jesus was not showing anything at all. He didn't do anything. He never went and talked to the Roman government to leave the Jewish people alone, or he didn't command them anything. Nothing was going on. Well, when the disciples went and some of them went and asked about the taxing thing, how we are going to do with the taxing, to that, what Jesus would have telling, because Jesus should be telling that, oh no, I hate the taxing system. I don't like that. That's not fair. So zealots were so against the taxing system, and also they're almost removing all the tax collectors. Didn't you remember that? I was telling that last time. Pre-occupators. So when Jesus was asked that question, he should have answered, telling them, like, to make sure that all this, you know, the oh my goodness, I'm just my flying thoughts over here. He should have told them very clearly that he came for Jewish people, and he's observing for the is working for the Jewish people, not for the Gentiles, right? So in the when the tax collectors, I mean, when the money was people came and asked about the tax, what he should do with the tax, he should have openly said, openly told them, you know No more tax. I'm not going to pay tax for this the Roman kingdom. The only tax I would pay is I would only, do the offering to my God. I'm not going to do any taxing. He should have told that. Instead of that, what he said, go and pay what belongs to the king and go and pay what belongs to the God. So he was kind of, give what belongs to the king, go what belongs to the God. So he was not even so strong enough to resist or oppose the kingdom and the king at the time. So that was not the Messiah's job. That was not the Messiah's quality. That's unbelievable. That's not correct at all. What happened at the end of the first century, Jesus was expected to return back, and he didn't return because at that time, that Jewish people, those who were watching, those who were following him, they were expecting Jesus to show up any moment. Jesus didn't show up at all. And also, not only that, the Roman kingdom waited for some time and then completely destroyed the temple, and the Jewish people all gone away. Absolutely, this is not the act of Messiah. When during the Messiah should rebuild the temple. Messiah should gather the Jewish people. Instead of that, everything was scattered all along the world. Temple was, zeroed down to the earth, and Messiah was failed to do his job. That's the problem with the Jesus, and that's why till date they don't accept Jesus at all in their life. They don't want to accept because he failed to do certain things as a Messiah, so they didn't accept. So then, now, how this went to Gentiles? That's what we should see. How this went into Gentile? It went into Gentile through who? Through Mr. Paul. Paul was the one who took this one, oh my goodness, where is that? Did I close that? To the Gentiles. Nobody else took this one. So he took it to the Gentiles outside. So, now, what? Okay. How Paul took it and what he convinced, because in the Jewish community, he was not accepted at all. He was thrown out of the Jewish community. He couldn't able to tell anything to the Jewish community, and he took the whole thing to the Gentiles, and he was telling the Gentiles. So we will see next time when we come how Paul took the gospel to the Gentile people, and then how the Christianity evolved from there, and it spread its wings all across the world. We will see it tomorrow or next time. Till then, Shabbat Shalom, Shavua Tov. May God bless you. God be with you. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר בתפארה והוא עובר והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת עשה וחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ותפאר אדון עולם השם מלך בטרם כל